Hello everyone, this is Mr.arorora and today we are going to make something new from the scope we just made. I mean the scope we made yesterday. Now, let's first of all, let's give it a rig for now and you will understand why. It's not a surprise, you will see in the thumbnail. We will turn this sculpture into another character that we can retopologize later on, or we can keep it like this because it's already well balanced. So we will see how it goes and we will decide along the way. What do you say? Now, the reason we are giving this character as Rick this early on, I want to pose my character, then I want to sculpt on it. That's my main idea. And the reason I'm giving a hip bone so that our bone moves according to the skeleton instead of moving positionally. I wanted to make sure that its rotation and movement is accurate to a regular skeleton, so it would have a much more natural rotation and movement. Okay, let's adjust our skeleton's placement. After on, we're going to pose this character and turn it into a Lamia. Lamias are half human, half snake characters. There are tons of names for that, so many of you could say, oh, you're making a Medusa. Yes, somewhat of a Medusa character, but not exactly. I'm going to give it a spin. Yeah, I'm gonna spin the character 360. What a joke, right? No. No, I'm gonna make it much more in my own personal style, which is I like more monsters being more less humanoid but more menacing. I mean, while keeping their humanoid side as well, in looks department at least. Okay, let's adjust them, and there we go. Make sure to align it perfectly for a better movement and more accurate. Don't get any bad ideas. This is a 3D character. I know you perverts out there. Stay away from my characters. Do whatever you want with your own characters. Don't touch my characters. Stay away. Anyways, okay, let's go to the pose mode. After we choose our mesh, then we're going to choose the skeleton. We're going to go to the pose mode and we will do apply automatic weights on. So this is not the best way to solve this issue, but it's the easiest one. So in a much more professional way, you would go into vertex painting mode and do it manually. I'm just going to speed forward my process because this is not going to be an animation accurate character, and I will fix the pose errors later on while sculpting. So let's keep that in mind. So let's close our character's legs. We don't need them to be open. This part is not going to be visible anyways, so keeping the skeleton is good because we might change our mind later on. So don't convert your mesh. Don't convert your poses into a mesh. Like, don't apply the poses. Wait for a moment. Until the end of the modeling process, let's keep it like that, okay? So I want my character to have one arm in front open with a claw and the other arm just waiting to slash at their enemies. So let's pose it like that. Easy as that. So I'm not going to put too much effort to posing. This is why I did a collarbone. More bones you have, more control over a mesh you have. Simple as that. At this point, Blender and other softwares become so accustomed to rigging. At some points, we don't really need to make sure our weight paint is correct. It's already good enough. So don't let this be a deterrent factor, but know what you're dealing with. Yes, you will going to need to have professional work as well, but at this age, unfortunately, with AI and artificial intelligence. Why did I open up the word? Anyways, thanks to AI and other tools, most of our work can be automated even though it's not perfect. Companies doesn't care. That's a hard truth of today's generation, and anyone who's interested in modeling or anything akin to this can be deterred because of that. So it's up to you to choose whether you use AI or not. I'm not advising it because I don't enjoy seeing it, because it's stealing away my work, but at the same time it's a tool that helps us get through many processes much faster. So either way, love or hate it, there are benefits and there are disadvantages. So you'll be the judge of that. In my opinion, being an artist is much more than relying on a tool, because at the end of the day, you're hold it to your own skill. What I mean by that is, yes, having AI is much good helper. However, if you really want to learn the skills and gain this knowledge, you're not wasting your time. You're learning something foundational and very important. And I don't think this is a waste of time. I think this is an opportunity to create more and learn more. So at least look at it in that way. Anyways, we'll delete just the faces, and we're going to select our edge loops and bridge edge loops. So the reason I'm doing this is in order to create a better curvature as a snake tail. This is the easiest way to do it. Like, you can manually go in, pull the vertices, use sculpting tools, and it's going to take a lot more time to refine the shape. Instead of torturing myself and doing it the hard way, why not do it this way? That's what I found out. Yes, I'm going to enjoy the process, but I'm not forced to create everything from the zero. I better use the tools in my hand to create a faster object. So you might say, oh, you're lazy. No, I'm not lazy. I'm using my skills and technical knowledge. This is much more efficient. So using this method is much more beneficial for me. It might not be for you, but for me it's much more beneficial. We can disagree on many things and agree on many things as well. So that makes us unique. And that's a wonderful thing. Don't lose your uniqueness. Accept each other's uniqueness, but don't lose your own uniqueness as well. Because in this age, being unique is all there is to it. Literally, like, you either be a unique person or you be a normie. Which is not a bad thing, but in today's culture and system, is much more forgiving to be unique. At least 10 years earlier, if you were a unique person, well, you would be shunned. So at least today we can be unique and be accepted. Let's put it that way. Anyways, that's enough of me stirring away from the main topic. So as you can see, we are sculpting our character slowly. And thanks to the method I use, I don't know why did I choose that tool for a moment. Anyways, thanks to the tool that I use, I easily created the shape I liked. And now I can either subdivide it more and sculpt it like that, which I'm going to do, but now at least I want to create an abdominal region for a snake, because the upper scales and the bottom scales different than each other. So I wanted to give this character that definition early on. So any zoologist who knows better than I can step in and say, "Oh, you're doing this wrong, Mr.arorora. This is not how a female snake would be." Which I would agree on with you because I don't know a lot about snakes. I love a lot of anatomy and everything else in between, but to be honest, we are not perfect and we don't always research about the things we are modeling. So you're going to say, "Oh, you're doing it the wrong way. You're choosing the faces the wrong way." Yes, I know. I couldn't find the correct way to do it, and I'm too stubborn to let this go and do it the right way. So you will not suffer through as I did, because I'll let you through this. You can skip ahead as always. But sometimes doing it the wrong way and the harder way is much more enjoyable. Let me put it that way. Sometimes we need to do things the long way in order to appreciate the effort we put into it. I might be sound like someone who appreciate their own work. I'm not. No perfectionist is. That's not something to be achieve or thrive to be. But at least be aware of your quirks and try to accept your work and love them. Don't overlove your works, because at the end of the day they're just something that you produce. They're not everything, or their value can be changed so easily, and in order to not face with that problem, accept some things and let go of some problems. Otherwise you'll suffer. Well, today's topics are getting too philosophical for my own taste. Oh boy. Anyways, so one thing I can encourage you all to do is try and fail. That's the best teacher there is. I couldn't find the correct way to do it, so instead I did this, and I skipped forward a little. I promise I didn't do much um, outside the camera, like every Minecraft YouTuber has claimed. Yeah, I'm old to deal with it. I'm going to hold this section as one piece because, oh no, one piece is real. Help! Anyways, oof, today me and the jokes are horrible. Sucks to be you guys. Or not. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I decided to didn't choose each section separately this time. Instead, I wanted to have a one solid section as well. You might ask me why, and I will tell you, I don't know. Some things we don't need to know. Some things are momentarily is a good idea, yes. For a moment you think it's a good idea and you might accept that. That's good. But few hours later you might hate that. So instead of doing it, sometimes I like to let go and freehand some stuff, without forcing myself on one direction. Because letting go is another beautiful thing. Because in this kind of software, you're allowed to create whatever you enjoy. And don't put yourself into a, how can I say it, mold, Because, yes, you try to fit into that mold, but like some flowers break their own cups or molds, because in some day, yes, you need to fit into your mold, but you need to expand and venture out as well. So breaking your mold is a necessary thing, as any human do. As any beautiful butterfly, we are destined to break our molds, and it's a human courtesy that we have break our molds not just once. We do it on occasion so many times, because in most of our lives we enter into a stage that, yes, it might be hard, it might be easy, and because of that, it will create enough pressure to put us into a new mold that which we might enjoy or not, and because of that, we will either break our mold and become someone new, or we will accept and we will procrastinate for a very long time, which is, it's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. Not every people should break their mold and become someone new. It is, depending on a time, sometimes the correct choice, and sometimes protecting yourself and staying put is always a choice as well. So, you're going to ask, okay, this is out of topic and it's not related to our topic. Actually, it is, because we first started with a female character, but we didn't have to fit into that mold. We are not forced to create a female character or something akin to that. No, we are free to do whatever we like. So I choose with my own free will, because I have a free will, at least what I think so, that, alright, this female body looks aggressive, sharp, and I might need a new miniature for my next D&D session. Well, why not turn this character into something new? A venomous Lamia. Like, it was a spur moment of a thing. And I already copied my original model, so even if I don't enjoy this final version with this version of my character, I can always go back and do something different. That's the beautiful thing with these kind of softwares. You're not limited to what you have in your hand. You're limited with your own imagination. So yes, it is. What I'm talking about is, yes, it's about our topic and how you see your own projects and your own work. You either grow with your projects, or you get comfortable enough to repeat yourself and create the same projects every single time. So that's another thing. And then another kind of point of view, I kind of time to time repeat the projects I did earlier in order to see how far I have come. For example, like at least 4 months ago, I did another Lamia, and that one I wasn't really appreciative enough. But in this one, I have learned much more about Blender and other tools to use, and I have how can I say it? I have a direction to go forward to, because this time I have a better idea of what to design. So sometimes repetition is a good thing. Keep that in mind. Like, in art genre, what I've understand, having a gray line is important as well. Yes, you need dark lines, you need white lines, you need gray areas, you need white areas. Sometimes you need red areas, and sometimes you need rainbows. Every single part is important and unique. And trying to learn everything is not a good idea at first, but it's a choice. And it's a choice that I'm willing to continue with. Like I said before, this is a creation journey. I'm not sitting here to show you what I exactly do. That's easy. I can throw in a little song, la 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 la. Doesn't even come close with our theme of creating a D&D creature and be done with it. No, I will much more be happier when I share my experience with my projects as well. So the reason I did the whole extrusion thing early on is to create a much more organic version of the scales beneath the snake. And before I give it any more textures, I'm going to make sure that it's have rough spots and soft spots as well. So I'm thinking at this time this tail is a little bit too thin for our character and maybe too long. But I don't know why, but I like where it's going, so I'm gonna keep with it. One time I tried to model the same kind of curvature and tail with a much more drastic way. Like I subdivided too early and I put it too many details, and it was a nightmare to print, export, or do anything with it. So failing is good because otherwise you're not going to learn anything from your failures. Also, I decided to add spine, a prominent spine to my monster. Also, I'm not going to leave this area as a square. It's not natural. Maybe it is, I don't know. I don't like it. If I don't like it, it's go bye-bye. And there we go, looks much better. From this point on, yes, I'm really happy with how it's going. But yeah, the arms are looking horrible. And without a head, not hat, this character feels off. Oh yeah, I'm trying to smooth and move some parts, even though I am still at the tail. Yeah, sometimes we do that mistake a lot. Because when you're modeling non-stop, because you don't want to break the flow you're having, because when you start a project and you decide to give a break, you lose momentum. And yes, some of us are able to continue with our passion and momentum. For some of us, it's not easy like that. So I would really understand if you're working on a project from beginning to end, but take breaks, guys. It's not more important than your health. And yes, the cursor is still there. I forgot about it. Deal with it. Okay, let's give our character a head. It looks too off without one. I'm not going to detail it. That's for the next episode. So in the next episode, I'm going to show you a easy trick to create snake-like tendril hair, which I wish I knew earlier. Like, when I realized I could do that, I was like, why did I put myself in through hell to create hair? Yeah, making mistakes is the greatest teacher there is. Without falling down on your knees and bleeding them, you will never learn to run more carefully. Or either you learn or you do not. I didn't learn how to run properly. Sometimes we are too, thick skull to learn some stuff. Anyways. Okay. So this is too fake for a hat. Let's tune it down. Give it another subdivision surface modifier. Because I'm going to try to sculpt it early in order to give it the main shape. So in case you're creating a rough shape, I suggest you to break the norm and do what you want, because sometimes you need to break the norm. Yes, I am so crazy about having beautiful geometry, good edge flow. Oh my god, this looks great. No, sometimes you need to experiment and you need to do what you need to do. You will see me try to create a normal head. Then it dawned on me, I am committed enough to create a monster. Why give this character a beautiful face? And why not make it more monstrous, Then I remembered a movie I watched. I'm not gonna name it because I don't care. You'll understand. Then I realized, yeah, I can give my character mandibles like that, which you can say, oh, uh, the Arbiter from Halo has mandibles. The Predator has mandibles. Yes, I know. That's the inspiration. Thank you for telling me. I know! I'm a nerd as well. Deal with it. I'm joking. I was first going to give our character a monster mouth. Then I didn't like the shape and where it's going. So I played with it. This would look too much like a cartoonish character, and it looks like a Daffy Duck now. Warner Bros., please help. This is not how it's supposed to be. Then I was playing around with the shape and trying to get something. Then this happened, and I go with the flow, and voila! Why not use this shape and create mandibles like I forgot their name. I forgot a lot of things. The Night Hunters from Dying Light. You know, they're really scary and monstrous. Like, yes, they have the resemblance of a human, but they are far from it. Like this guy. Gull. Person. Snake. Thing. Whatever it is. And I decided to give my character mandibles. That's the whole story. So, having a little bit of a chaos is really good for opportunistic, crafty persons. People. I don't know. I don't know how to put words into as good cohesion context. Yeah, sometimes randomness is good. So for this episode, this will be our head. So I'm going to give it a tongue and scary eyes, but it will come later on. So sometimes we need to experiment with shapes and do this kind of stuff to give us inspiration, because not every single time we're going to have a natural source of inspiration. Instead, sometimes we need to create our own inspiration by trialing and failing at creating something. This is what I do. So I add another random cube, added some subdivision surface modifier, and there we go, I have a tongue now. Sometimes when you get used to some things, you can't even imagine how it was difficult at the first time you designed and did something like this. So take a step back, appreciate where you are. It doesn't matter if it's a 3D project or not. Appreciate yourself, man. Come on. Or woman, or person, or a non-binary person. Doesn't matter. Appreciate yourself. It matters. I'm not saying whatever you're decided to call or how do you feel is important. Yes. But one thing is really important is that you appreciate how far you have come and how much you develop as a person. This is why I speak about these kind of stuff while modeling, because when you take a step back and understand what you're modeling, you take an understanding of yourself and your surroundings as well, because without any reflections, sometimes the only reflection you can find is your own self. So this is one way to, define who you are. Art is one of the main reasons. I mean, art is one of the most important things in a person's life. Even if you're not an art enjoyer, it will affect you one way or another. And sometimes the result isn't important as the process. Sometimes process is important as well. It looks like Venom for now. Yeah. You know what we should model next? A Venom. Maybe Carnage. I like Venom, yes, but the unhingedness of Carnage is much more interesting to me. And because of that, the character Carnage so shifty, like it can be anything. Like the damn guy is so crafty. It amazes me. Let's put it like that. Now we will kinda create our reference for our hand. Then I will copy it and mirror it to the other side. So I'm not sure how I should model the hand at this stage, so I decided to rough shape it and see where it goes. And I can decide how it will end up at least. Sometimes that process is much more creative than your imagination. Like, let imagination and inspiration come to you while on process. Yes, take a consideration that you might imagine too many things at the same time. So take that to a consideration as well, because yes, we want a final result at the end of the day, but we want a result. That's another thing. Yes, having imagination is also important. I agree, but some days you will need results. Otherwise, you will loop around and around like the Ouroboros, the snake that it eats itself. This time the reference is accurate with the theme. So, yes, process is important, but don't forget you'll need a final result at the same time. But not every time, because not every art should be finished. That's another thing. I don't know, I have so many ideas, and when I'm in a really creative mood, I start babbling about those, so sorry, but not sorry at the same time. Oh, it looks like oven mittens. Yeah, I think so. Bear with me. We will turn this potato-looking thing into a hand. I believe in ourselves. At least I hope so. So far, I'm satisfied with the part shape of the hand. Um, but I'm not going to force myself by extruding a sphere from there. Instead of doing that, I'm going to just put a cube and put a subdivision surface modifier. Ah, gosh dang it, we need a better synonym for that. It's too long. Like, try to say it 3 times in a row. Subdivision surface modifier, subdivision surface modifier, subdivision surface modifier. Okay, it was easy to say. But still, it's still annoying. Instead of trying to sculpt a single finger out of a single cube, do this. Give it a finger shape, like a sausage. Little sausage. Okay, it's average. Below average sausage. Then put them on top of each other until you have a sausage party. I'm joking. Until you have a finger. And this way, you'll at least have a better idea of how you should pose your finger without rigging it. This is another way of doing something like that. So, by the way, also, this is your shortcut as well. Copy this finger and paste it 5 times and adjust their placements and size, and you have a hand. Like, yes, try to be unique, but if you have a deadline to finish, you gotta beat the bullet sometimes and work with the flow, not against the current. Also, I realize, yes, my fingers are crooked, which I was too lazy to fix it now, but later I'm sure I'm going to be not lazy enough to fix them. Hopefully. Or our fingers going to be crooked. They are still crooked, by the way. This is not the fixed version. But they are good enough for this stage. Work in stages. It really helps you a lot. Like, take a step back, realize what you have created, and go back to working. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, have stages, like video games. Like, imagine, like old arcade games. Like, they don't have stages that you can go back to that easily. Like, yes, they did have stages, but for example, Donkey Kong, like, you have no save button, and it's a game. It's one of the game's mechanic. I'm not saying that. I'm saying have a save point as well, and you can go back, and with a fresh mind you might create something much more creative and better. So at least try to work with stages, and if you're not, work on your own pace. Who am I to say to do what to do to you? Yeah, I believe myself that one day I will succeed in not stuttering while talking. One day I will succeed in that as well. Maybe I don't. I don't care. I do care. Just a little bit. Just a teeny, meeny, tiny bit. Yeah. So, the way to create hair, the easier hair, at least this is what I found much more easier for this kind of tutorial, because I'm going to make sure that her hair is like rattlesnakes. So at this stage, I will just use Bezier curve and place hairs like that, and so by doing this, I'm not forcing any geometry to bend Scoulp out of shape. Instead, I have much more control and range while doing that. So try to do that as well. It's really helpful. And at least have 3 vertices in your Bezier curves. Otherwise, it's kind of going to have less motion in the hair or in the thing you're trying to create. And this is also another option that we could have used. Oh my, sorry about the yawning. And this is one of another options we could have used for our snake tail as well. So yeah, there are plenty of options. It's about your preference and when to use what to use. My butchering of English language continues on without an end. I wonder when will the English government will decide to nuke my house for butchering their beautiful language. First, my own government should nuke me for butchering my own language. I'm not going to speak in my own language. Suffer. So this is another way to create hair, but have some control in your chaos, or you will going to go back to the beginning and redo it all of them. So I know that I'm going to redo them all. I'm just experimenting at this point to see what I could do. So another good option would be placing the origin point of the hair to the end of the hair, like the beginning, so that you have much more control in the direction it goes, because when we try to rotate it, it rotates from the middle. It's a problem because we will go into editing it more than what we would have do. Yeah, I'm running out of words to speak of. So it's okay to go back. For now, it's okay. Let me check if I do anything else in this tutorial. Nope, I work on here. So, this is all from Mr.arorora. Thank you for joining me in this session of creation. So, I hope I helped you understand through my process and the process of creating a 3D character and appreciating yourself. So, thank you all for joining me in today's session. And I'll see you in the next episode. Stay safe, stay awesome. Bye.